and then another field, and then again concatenation, a comma and a concatenation. So I'm concatenating all the columns of a particular table, and we are using a comma as a delimiter in between, right? So customer number concatenated with a comma, and then last name of the customer and a comma, and first name a comma, social security number, that's it. So up to all the data elements we are concatenating with the select clause. Can you tell me how many columns we are exporting as a result of this particular select query? How many columns would be there in this result set? Can you calculate? Yes. Okay, I get different answers. 4 columns, 8 columns, 1 column. What is the actual fact? Do I get 4 columns in this result set, or 8 columns in this result set, or 1 column? These are the options. Good that I got correct answer from many people. You see, we are getting only 1 column because we are concatenating all the columns with the delimiter and we are exporting it. So it is a single column what we are exporting. Do you see any comma here in between after each column and after each concatenation? No. So they are concatenated as a single column, and finally we will get only 1 column as the output. And for that column, what is the column header? See here, the column header made as null, the title option. So there is no header, and there is only a single column written by this particular query, and the data would exist in this format. See the example. The customer number, customer name, with the last name, comma, first name, comma, social security number. So this is the format of the data what you are going to export from the table customer into the file customer data underscore CSV, comma, separated file. Right? So this is how you can generate a variable length delimited file. You can use either comma, or you can use a pipe, you can use any special symbol which would not repeat in our data elements. You can use @ you can use hash, any combination of the characters, @ hash, or a $@ hash. You can use any of the delimiter which won't repeat in our data elements, and can create a delimited file, the variable length text. So this is how you can use the query. This is the popular mode of usage while exporting data, because most of the times when you export the data, that would be imported by some other application, and that application could be in some other database like DB2, Oracle, SQL Server, right? So if you give in data mode or indic data mode, those databases cannot understand the data. So we have to give data popularly the variable length delimited file, and how you can generate the pipe delimited files, comma delimited files through Bteq. So we have to use some formattings if you require, and then concatenate them, and then use a title null so that you won't get any header, but the first record starting in the data file would be your data record. Yeah. And if the data records exceed the 75 characters in the Unix machines and Windows machines, you have to use a set width command to increase the record length. Okay, so by default it is 75 characters what a report file can accommodate per a line. In case we have more than 75 characters, we have to use a set width command to increase the line width. They can increase up to 65,531. Generally we do set width of 255, 500, like that, so that you can accommodate all the columns in a single row in the report mode. Okay. Once you report, okay, once you export this data in a report mode with a variable length delimited file, sometimes you may have to load it within Teradata itself, right? Or some other applications might have given you data in a pipe delimited file, a comma delimited file. They have exported data from DB2 or SQL Server, and they wanted you to load in your application, which is on Teradata. So as a ETL developer, you have to load a variable length data file with a delimiter. Okay, you have to load in Teradata database. How you can load the variable length delimited text in Bteq, okay, through Bteq into Teradata table. Again, this is the script. Logon command as usual. The logon, host name and password. Host name slash username comma password, and then you have to import the variable length delimiter file, right? So import var text comma is the syntax what you have to use to load a comma delimited file. In case if it is a pipe, you can use a pipe symbol here. Instead of comma, you use a pipe or whatever delimiter you want to use to load this data of the file into your Teradata table. So this is the import command what you use to load the variable length file. Quite on, you know what is quite on, and repeat star till end of the file. The load has to be iterated, right? Everyone know what is the repeat? What is the quite on? Pack? Anyone who don't know the commands what we used here? Very good. Everyone knows that, right? So repeat star to read till end of the file each and every record, and then it has to use this particular structure to read each and every individual record from the file. What is the structure? Okay. The format, how the records appear in this file. While exporting, we no need to give that, because while exporting, we are exporting data from the table. So Teradata can find out the format of the rows by contacting DBC, the data dictionaries. So we no need to explicitly mention what is the format of the data you are exporting. It knows by contacting the metadata information. But here we are loading data from the file, and from the file Teradata cannot know what format the data exists, how many columns it has, and how many, what is the data type of each column, what is the length of the each field. All those things we have to explicitly provide. Right? So we have to mention the structure with the using, and if you observe, all these variables are defined with varchar. So this is again a mandatory requirement whenever you load a var text file. It's a variable length delimiter file you are importing, then each and every column data type should be mentioned as varchar of some length, and this length should be at least equal or more than the data what we are expecting from the file. For example, customer number is always 20 characters. You better put 21 characters or 25 characters or 30 characters. So minimum equal or more than it, because it's a varchar anyway. So it's a variable length varchar. So if the data has this much length, it will occupy the space, otherwise no, right? So reasonably you give a length which is more than expected, and you give always a varchar for each and every column while you are importing data from a variable length text file. Okay, so this is the sample how a variable length text file looks like, right? So if you have such type of records to be imported in Teradata, you have to use a var text delimiter and using structure where you have to define each and every column as a varchar with minimum equal or more size than expected. And then the normal insert command, all the variables should be prefixed with a colon. So this is how you have to use. So what are the things you have to remember here? While exporting a delimiter file, you have to use a concatenation, formatting, and while importing it, okay, you have to use a var text mode with the delimiter and define all the columns as varchar with minimum equal length or more than the expected length. Right? So there is an exercise for you all in our utilities folder. You see the BTEQ exercise final. Just open it. You have the script, the execution log, and data file. Everything it has. So this is the BTEQ script which I have written with all the comments. Here are the comments. So this is the example to demonstrate most popular way of exporting pipe delimited file and import var text data with different date formats in source and target tables. So all the scenarios I have covered here. So what you have to do? You have to go through the script step by step and see what all options I have used. So it is very self-explanatory. So source table structure, you have to create a structure table like this, and sample data you have to insert like this, the insert commands, and then you have to log on the error levels. You have to set for the tables. You have to delete the file. You are exporting in a report mode, so set width to 55, export file, the report format, and a pipe delimiter file. And here one more thing you have to understand is we are concatenating all the fields, right? So while concatenating, if one of the field value becomes null, null concatenated with anything would become null. Okay, it is similar as the multiplication with 0 would always be 0, right? So in similar way, concatenation of null with any string would become null. So to avoid that, you have to use a coalesce function. You can read out here why I used coalesce here. Coalesce function you have to use before retrieving each and every column, and then you concatenate with the other fields, and finally title null, so that you will get data in this format. It is the resulting file. And error handling, you see. Okay, this is a professional way of writing a real-time BTEQ. Okay, writing comments for each and every line. The command may be of one line, but the comment should be of more than one line. Well, this is how the industry is expecting you to write the code with more documentation, so that the next person who will be taking your charge can understand the code easily and can take it from you as a handover. Right? This is how the industry is expecting. The error handling mechanisms, what we discussed yesterday, right? And then each and every step, importing. You have created a target table into which we have to load the data what we exported in the above step. This is the data we exported, right? And now I have created a similar table as a target with the different date formats. In the target I have YYYMMDD as the date format, but in the source I have date in a different format like this, YYYMMDD. So if you try to load the data which is exported into a different format, see here the dates are YYYMMDD, but now you have to import it into a format of YYYMMDD. So how do you do that? It is a general problem what would occur in every load and import and export. So I just wanted to address that issue also here so that we will get good exposure. How to differentiate the format errors, how to resolve the format errors. So create a table, target table with the different formats in the date, and now you will load a var text pipe delimiter which exists in this particular path. I want to skip 2 records just to show you how to skip the records in case if you require. And I want to load only 5 records. If you put a star, then it will go and load all the records, otherwise only 5 records. Quite on, and pack 10, and then the using structure, how you define each and every column in the file, note all the columns are varchar because the mode is report mode. Sorry, the mode is var text mode. So whenever the mode is var text, you have to import the records by defining them as varchars, right? And then insert into. And this is the format change what I need to do, because JOD is a different format in the data file, and the file, I mean the table definition has a different format, so I have to change it in the source format. Then only you can load the data, otherwise it will fail. And find log off and error handling, which everything is mentioned, implemented here. Yeah, so what I want you is, okay, this is the exercise. Okay, you have to create a table, you have to load some data into this table, export data in a pipe delimited format, and then create one more target table with different date formats, and import data of this particular file, the variable length pipe delimited file, into the new target table and see the data. This is the exercise, and this is the solution also I have given here in our course material. So first you try yourself how to export data, pipe delimited data, and how to import that. In case of any issues, you can go through this. It has handled all the issues, the frequently asked issues. Everything is commented and everything is materialized here. So you can go through this and you can fix it and you can run it. In case still if you have any issues, please let me know. I will resolve them. Okay, this is the first step for your case study. Okay, we are going to start the case study tomorrow. So if you are able to complete this, this is a good foundation for your case study. So once you complete the case study, you will get almost 2 years of ETL experience. Okay, so this is the basic understanding. First you have to get to start your case study, what we are going to start tomorrow. Okay, so please start, everyone. Go through this. Okay, please try yourself first, and if there is any issue, please go through this step by step and complete it. This is very small file. Only the comments are more, just to give you a more elaborated explanation. That's it. The code is very small. Yeah, no need to scary about this file. It is a well maintained or well defined description, and the code and the structures, everything is given in this. It is self-explanatory. Please start going through it. Okay. Any questions so far? Yeah, the file exists in Bteq in utilities folder, Bteq scripts, the zip file, Bteq exercise final. Yeah, after this we have the case study tomorrow. Yeah, let me see some questions. Srikant.
Hi Manoj, I just wanted to ask, like, while we are dealing with Teradata server from a Unix box, right? While we are either fast loading or fast loading flat file from the Unix server to the Teradata, the Teradata machine knows where the file is because we are initiating the script from the Unix box. So I wanted to know, like, while we are exporting a file from Teradata box to a Unix box using either BTEQ or fast export, does Teradata land the file on the Teradata system first, or does it send it to the Unix box?
Okay, so I'm muting you. I'm getting a noise.
Okay.
So the question is, when I export data, where this file lands, right? See, the Teradata server, the Teradata is an RDBMS. The Teradata server is installed on some platform, whether Unix or mainframes. Okay, generally nowadays it is all Linux, SUSE Linux after Teradata 12 onwards. Okay, so when you have your Teradata RDBMS installed on the Unix server, the platform is Unix. Okay, and when you export the data through any of the client Unix machines, you can change the path, the host name, onto which server you want to export the data, or if you want to export the data in your local server itself, everything you can mention. The path, the host name, the host servers you can mention. Or after the export into your local machine, you can use an FTP server to FTP the file from your local to the other server on which the DB2 application or SQL server, the downstream applications are installed. Okay, so it is under our control where to export the data first, and then you can FTP to any of the other server, okay, to which you want to give this data file as input for their downstream applications. Right? That's it. The answer question.
Actually, my question was the exact reverse. Like when we are exporting like a file from a table in Teradata, if I want to export a Teradata table in the form of flat file to a Unix client machine, where does it first land? Does it have to land on the Teradata machine first, or does it directly send to the Unix client machine?
Where you are differentiating between Unix and Teradata. Teradata is not a platform which stores the flat files. Teradata can load only the RDBMS data, right?
Yes, but as I said, it is installed on a Unix platform, right? And Unix platform means like it might. I mean, I'm guessing it has a file system and directory structure. So is that true?
Okay. Okay, fine. So I got your question probably. So see, this is my Windows machine, right? So through this, I can connect the remote Teradata machine. Okay. If I run Bteq here, for example, I mean, in our real-time scenario, what happens is the Teradata machine is installed somewhere in Unix, and you can connect your Teradata machine through the SQL Assistant here. Right? In a SQL Assistant or Bteq, you can install the client tool, you can install on your machine, and you can run the Bteq here. So by default, the data file would be generated in your local, the Windows machine. Or if you log on to your SSH Tecticia, okay, to remotely connect the Unix machines, in your local Unix machine, the file is generated, not on the server actually. Okay, the server Linux machine you are not going to access at any time. Okay, if you export the local machine, what you use to connect the server, in the local machine the files are exported, not on the server. You got it?
I'm talking about like batch script. And I'm
Any
not talking
script,
about
any script, the batch script or whatever script you execute interactively, or the batch script you write and schedule it every time. Okay, all the scripts would generate data files in your local Unix machine, not in the server Unix machine. Okay. If you want to export it, you can do an FTP again to any of the server. It could be a Teradata server, it could be a DB2 server. Any server you can FTP it later, but when you export it, it will export into your local machine. Right?
See, I have a Unix IBM AX machine for example, right?
Okay.
IBM AX server. So that's what I use to write shell scripts and to run BTEQ scripts, correct? BTEQ or fast load scripts or whatever. So there is a table on Teradata server. There is a Teradata table on Teradata server, and I want that Teradata table to be brought over to the IBM AX server.
Okay. Table to be brought or table data to be brought in a flat file in your local Linux machine?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay.
So in order to do that, if I use the export command, right, in the BTEQ, or I think as far as I know, the BTEQ works for a smaller file, and you have to do a fast export, I suppose. Right, if I want to export a large file, large table. So when I do that, does Teradata system, while exporting the file to the Unix, first use any file system on Teradata server as landing area, or does it send the accumulate all the data and send it to the AIX server directly?
AX server directly. It will use pool space in the server. to accommodate the data, and whatever formats, whatever orderings you do, that will be made on Teradata's pool space, and then the file will be delivered on your AX Unix machine.
Okay. Yep.
Right?
That was it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me read out one question here. When it is useful to use data mode rather to use indic data in real-time scenarios, as it will ignore null values. If you don't have any null values, so here the question is, where do we use data mode? Because it ignores the null values, right? So in what scenarios we go for a data mode? Yes, I mean, as your expectation, the data mode usage is very much less, but in case if there is no null value in the table and all the columns are having a constraint not null, then you will go for a data mode, which is very faster than indic data and no overhead of maintaining indic data bytes, and there is no null value at all in the data, then you can go for a data mode. Otherwise you have to go for a indic data mode to export and import, right? If you ensure there is no null, then you can go for a data mode, otherwise no. Yes, Rakesh.
This is regarding yesterday's class about the pack. I'm still not sure how that works. Because
Which one?
your file
Pack.
yes,
Okay.
in your file at 7 underscore vartex bteq, in that you are mentioning pack 10. Now, where is that pack 10 is pointing to?
See, what the pack does actually, it would pack a group of records as a single pack, and it will be used for a single IO operation. For example, in BTEQ, by default what happens, it will read each and every record from the file and load each and every record individually into the table. That means for loading one record, it uses one input and one output. That means 2 IOs.
Yeah.
Okay. If I have 10 records, how many IOs it would use?
20.
20 IOs. But if I pack 5 records as a single batch, and whenever BTEQ has to read from the file, it has to read 5 records at once and write them in the table at once. Then for 5 records, how many IOs?
5 records is 10.
For 5 records, how many IOs when I pack them as a single IO?
One.
Okay, 1 for input, 1 for output. So 2 IOs for 5 records. For 10 records,
2.
4 IOs.
2. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 4.
2 inputs, 2 outputs, so 4 IOs. So earlier it was 20 IOs. Now I have reduced it to how many IOs?
4.
4 IOs. So this is the optimization I would get in terms of IO if I pack a number of records as a single group.
So if you are telling pack 10, it means that it will pack every 10 IOs?
No, 10 records it will pack.
Yeah.
So that,
okay, 10 records.
10 records will be read once and written into the table once.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, before we complete our BTEQ concept, because we are done with BTEQ. This is all. Okay, we have seen what are the features of BTEQ. We have seen the exports, different modes of export, different modes of import. Okay, how to do a error handling mechanism, and how to export a variable length file and how to import a variable length file. Okay, these are the concepts what we have to remember, and within this we have seen different options of limiting them. You can limit the number of records to be exported, skipping the number of records to be loaded, pack, quite on, repeat. Okay, all these things we have to remember. Okay, all these things we have to use in your case study also as well. Okay, just giving a clue. When I explain case study tomorrow, these are the things we have to use. Okay, here I see one question. What is quite on and quite off? Okay, let me explain. See, quite on is to activate the silent mode during the execution of the BTEQ. For example, by default, BTEQ will give you the acknowledgement of each and every statement execution in your log file. That means when you are importing 100 records, okay, while you are inserting data into your table, for each and every record, it will tell you one record is added in the database, and this is the time taken to add this record. When I'm inserting second record, again it will give the message inserting second record. This is the time taken to insert this record. So like this, if you observed the earlier logs, we have seen those many insert commands, okay, insert acknowledgements it has given in the log file. But do I require these many insert acknowledgements while I am loading 1000 records? The whole log file will fill up with these acknowledgements itself, isn't it? If I use BTEQ for 2000 records, and if I am not in a silent mode, it will acknowledge that each and every record while loading into the table. What shall I do with those all messages? It is enough for me to give me one single message that all the 1000 records are loaded, isn't it? So to have that happen, we have to use a quite on mechanism. So what we are mentioning, please activate the silent mode. Quiet means silent. It is not quit here. It is quiet. Right? Quiet means silent. So silent mode on. So whatever SQLs execute, it will execute in a silent mode, but it won't give you any message. Okay, at the end of the records, then it will give you the message that all the records are loaded. So and so number of records are loaded. That is enough for me. And after this insert, if you have a select star from retail.cusp2, that means after loading the data, you would like to see what is the data loaded. If you execute this in a silent mode, it won't acknowledge you any result because it is in silent mode. So whatever SQL you execute, it won't give you any result. It is in a silent mode. It won't talk to you because it is silent. You ask the question, as it is executed, but it is not giving you the result. So in order to make it into a normal mode, then you have to deactivate the silent mode with a quiet off. Then whatever SQL you execute, you can see the result. Now Teradata will talk to you because it's not in a silent mode now. I have deactivated the silent mode. Teradata will give you answer after execution. So this is the usage of quiet on and quiet off. Okay, good. Now, any further before we move ahead with the next topic? Yeah, because BTEQ is the basic Teradata query. Everyone should have the understanding, the thorough understanding of this BTEQ, and the rest of the utilities are almost same. Only the syntax and the internal mechanism of execution is different, but writing script, execution script is almost similar. So I am taking much time here to make you understand the BTEQ concepts. So rest of the tools and utilities are very easy for us to understand once we are strong at understanding BTEQ. Okay, so please go through that and complete the exercises so that you will get good understanding at the tool. Kameshwar.
Yeah, so Manohar, when we give this pack 10, right, so it loads 10 records at a time, right?
Yes.
So in case, say there is some failure happened in between the, say the script is running, okay, during the batch process, in between the script is running and there's a failure. So how can we know like how many records got loaded, or is there a, or and my question is there a way like out of the pack 10 when we are loading, is there will there be a scenario like 5 got loaded and 5 got missed out?
No. See,
for
BTEQ, the default is if it completes everything. Otherwise, it don't complete anything. You have to start it from the scratch, from the 0th record onwards. For example, if you are loading 1000 records, if it failed at some point like 90 record, then nothing is inserted. You have to start from 0 record onwards.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a disadvantage also in BTEQ. When we are comparing it with other utilities, I will tell you what are the advantages and disadvantages, and in which situations we have to go for BTEQ, in which situation we have to go for other utilities. I will tell you those characteristics again, the limitations of BTEQ.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So we'll start on our case study introduction. I'll just give an introduction today, and tomorrow we'll go through and complete the case study introduction, so that you can start trying the case study. This is our case study, insurance. Okay, we're going to see the insurance domain, the business first, because any technology starts with business, right? So we have to be very strong at business first to understand, and then we have to convert these functional requirements into technical requirements. So here, as we are dealing with the ETL projects, the data warehousing projects, first we'll understand what the insurance business is. Most of us know this because you also a part of insurance customer, so most of us know, but just to make ensure everyone knows how the insurance business would earn the money and what the business they do, we'll just go through the business first, and then we'll try to convert those functional requirements into number of dimensions, number of facts, and then the relations, and how we'll request the source files, okay, how to maintain relations, and then how to use the ETL audit tables. All those things we'll go through gradually. So we'll start with the understanding business first. Okay, so this is the agenda items for the case study. We'll start with insurance domain and what is health insurance. Okay, we'll mainly deal with health insurance in this case study, and identifying the dimensions and facts. Source, SOR, the system of records, means the source systems. How to identify source systems, how to request files, and then ETL mappings and reporting. These are the things we would cover. Okay. Coming to the insurance domain. What is insurance basically? Insurance provides protection against financial losses resulting from a variety of threats. Right? This is what basically the insurance definition. It would protect you against the financial losses from a variety of threats. By purchasing the insurance policies, either an individual or a business, you can do a individual insurance, that is insurance for you alone, or a group of people. Maybe as a whole, your family, you can get an insurance, or as a company, they can insure their employees along with their families. Like that, you can do either an individual policy for you alone or a group policy like a family or a group of employees. So that there are two kinds of insurance what you can purchase from the insurance company, so that you can receive the reimbursements for the loss of your properties, like car get due to an accident, or any theft of the property, or any fire accidents, the storms, medical expenses, the loss of income due to disability or death. All those threats are covered under your insurance, and you will get a reimbursement in case the type of event would happen. Right? This is what the insurance business is. You will pay the premium to avoid your risk, and whenever such a threat happen, that the event happen, then you get your reimbursement of the insurance. And this is what the basic insurance business. Okay. So everyone knows now what is insurance. Okay, you will pay a certain premium and you will save your properties and life. In case such event happens, you will get the money reimbursed from the insurance company. There are so many types of insurance: auto insurance, home insurance, health insurance, and life insurance. Auto insurance means okay, the cars, automobiles you can insure, and home insurance, okay, the house you can insure, so that any threat happens, any fire accident happens, you'll get reimbursement. Or you can have a home loan insurance again. Okay, whatever loan you are taking from taking by giving the mortgage on the home, you can insure that loan, so that if something happen, that the loan will be recovered by the insurance company itself. And then health insurance, most popular mediclaims, what we call it as, right? Nowadays we're calling health insurance as mediclaims. That means whenever any hospitalization is required, you no need to pay the money, the insurance company would pay you for all the treatments. Some waivers are there to get ambulance services, and after the surgery or after the treatment, the room charges, the regular checkup visits, you can get waivers and get health insurance covered. Health insurance, popularly called as mediclaims, where you can hospitalize. You can hospitalize without paying money, and insurance company would get it reimbursed. And then life insurance, endowment policies, the life insurance, what you get, the life insured till 20 years or 30 years, 35 years, the life is insured, and in case of the event, where we get life insurance reimbursed for the dependents. Okay, so these are types of insurance we have, and here we mainly deal with the health insurance part to understand health insurance. Okay, for example, in an insurance company, now you are appointed to build their health insurance data mart. Okay, so you just think of, okay, you have joined a multinational insurance company now as a technical analyst, and now you are responsible to build their health insurance data mart, right? So now let's analyze health insurance. So health insurance is popularly called as mediclaims, and it protects one against any financial constraints arising on account of a medical emergency. If any medical emergency, the patients no need to pay. If they have the insurance company will pay to the hospital on behalf of you. Right? And it sometimes includes disability and long-term medical needs as a waivers. Okay, not only the medical emergency, if any disability happen because of any events or accidents, they will provide reimbursement against those long-term disability also. Okay, they will pay premium for every month because of those waivers. And in mediclaim, what we do, you pay a premium, and in return the insurer commit to pay a predetermined sum of money to meet the claims. So first we have to purchase it by making a premium amount, and then the insurance is in active status, and during this active status of the insurance, if any event happens, then the insurer would commit to pay the reimbursable amount. Okay. And health insurance can be taken by individuals or by the groups, right? As we discussed earlier, as a group of family or the group of employees of a corporate, they can take a group insurance, or individual also can take a health insurance. Okay. And the entities which describes the business in terms of which, who, where, and when are called as the dimensions. Okay, so now you started your analysis on the health insurance domain, and you have to talk with the business user who is using your application for the reporting, right? So you have to approach them and you have to ask them the questions, what kind of reports they would like to see after you build your data mart, right? Based on the usage only you have to build your application. So we'll consult with the business user and we ask them, okay, what kind of reports they wanted to see at the end after you complete your data mart. They will tell you what type of reports they would like. For example, which product is doing top in revenue? Okay? As an insurance company, they have so many products. Within health insurance, they have gold plan, they have platinum plan, they have silver plan. There are so many products within the health insurance. So now I would like to know which product is more attractive to the customers and which product is making me more revenue. Okay, so this is what, as a business, you want to get answer. Why you want to know which product is doing top in revenue? so that you can analyze that particular product and see what are the features of it, and you can introduce one more product with the similar features so that the revenue of other products would also increase, isn't it? So this is what the business want to improve their products. So I would like to see which is the best product which is giving me good money, so that I can analyze that product and will implement the same features in other products also as well. So as a business, I'm interested to see which product is doing top in revenue. Okay, so when he says this, then from this requirement you have to identify what are the dimensions and what are the facts. And I hope if everyone know what is the dimension fact, and I asked you to go through my data warehousing videos. In case if you are new to the data warehouse, you have to go through the data warehousing videos, right? Where are the data warehousing videos? Let me give you one more time. Let me remind you. It's startup kit. We have DWSQL Unix recordings here, the document, the startup kit. You can open this document. You can find out all the warehousing concepts, where I asked you to go through these warehousing concepts. I hope you have completed it, because I have given 3 weeks of time, probably. Hope you have completed them. 3 videos of 2 hours or 2.5 hours. If you go through this, you will get the good understanding of what is dimension, what is fact, what is the dimension modeling. So I am using this knowledge of data warehousing to make you enable to implement the data warehousing application through BTEQ, the Teradata. Okay, so here, by seeing this question, you should be able to identify what are the dimensions and facts. Right? So whatever terminology is prefixed by the WH questions, which, who, where, and when, those objects, those entities would become the dimensions. Okay, so here, which product? I'm asking which product. So the product is prefixed with the WH question, so the product will become a dimension here. Okay, and then the measures, the calculations, what we do on some entities, those entities are called as the facts. Here the measure is the top or count, or maximum, minimum, sum. All those measures, if I apply on any of the entity, that particular entity will become a fact. So here in this particular question, what is the fact and what is the dimension? Here the product is prefixed with the WH question, which product? So product would become a dimension, and the revenue is calculated with the top function, the mathematical function. So it is the fact. The revenue would become the fact. Okay, this is one report he wanted to see, and you ask him further, okay, there is one report, and what else you want to do with my application once I build it? Then he will say, I would like to see who is the top profit generated customers in my business. Through which customer I am getting more money. Here I have done my analysis on product basis, and after my product analysis I would like to see the customers. Who is the customer who is giving me the top profit? Then again you will try to convert this functional requirement into technical. You will identify what is the dimension and what is the fact you have to create in your application. So here, who belongs to what entity? Which entity? Customer, right? Who is the customer? So customer would become another dimension. Okay, in your application, along with product, you have to create one more dimension, customer. And then what is the fact you will identify here in this question? This profit, right? Because it is top profit. So we are doing a calculation on the profit. So profit would become a fact. Right? Particular question has customer as the dimension, and profit as the fact. And then one more question. When was the cost increased more than 5%? Yeah, I would like to see when generally we are increasing the cost of the products, the insurance products, when we are increasing 5% premium on all the products. So when relates to the time, right? At what time we are increasing? Is it a quarterly basis or a weekly basis or monthly basis or yearly basis? Okay, so when would give you the time dimension, and increase, right, more than 5% cost. So 5% increase, your calculation, okay, is done on which entity? 5% increment calculation you are doing on the cost of the products. So cost would become a measure here, so it is a fact, right, based on the increase you are measuring the product, right? So at what time you are increasing the cost, so the cost would become the fact. So similarly, if any of the questions you ask about the reports, and whatever report they give you, you have to analyze what are the facts and what are the dimensions involved. And now once you identify all the questions, okay, you have to ask many questions to the user. They don't come up with a proper documentation that this is what I want. Okay, as a business architect, we have to approach the business and we have to ask them more and more questions, then only they come up with your reports. Otherwise they also don't know what they want to do. In most of the cases, the users won't know what they want. Based on your questions and based on your suggestions, yes, they will say, yeah, this is what I want. Okay, so this is all the business architect's responsibility, to make them talk more and get more information from their words. So this is how you have to ask the question, okay, what you want to do with the revenue, what you want to do with your products, what type of reports you would like. Is that the top 10 products you want to see in your organization, or is it a top 5 customers you want to see who are generating more revenue? If they say yes, that is the report functionality, and then you have to identify the dimensions and facts for all the questions. And now you have to start identifying, okay, what all dimensions you have to create, what all facts you have to create, and then the relations, right? And then once you identify all the dimensions and facts here, you have to start identifying the source systems which would give you this data. Yeah, here you mentioned you wanted to do a product wise analysis on the revenue. Then you have to start thinking about who can get you this product information, what all products you have, okay, what all those names, what all those characteristics of the product. Who will give this information? The source system which would maintain this product information, right? So you have to consult with this source system which maintains this product systems, and you have to approach them and ask them, okay, we need this data in so and so particular format and in so and so frequency, maybe daily twice, or weekly once, or bi-monthly or monthly once. And what is the format of the data you want? Is it a pipe delimited file, or is it a comma delimited file, or is it a tab delimited file you want, or what all columns you require? Okay, everything we have to discuss with the source system who would maintain this product information, right? So here we have taken an example of organization file, that is the regions, okay, the branch information. Here, for example, if there is a question, which branch of this insurance company is making more revenue, that could be a question, right? Which branch is top in revenue? For example, it is my MNC, I have 100 branches across the globe. I would like to see which branch is doing top in revenue, so that I can approach that manager and I can ask them, yeah, how you able to approach, how you able to get this particular high revenue, and I can ask him the best practices what is following, and I can broadcast to all other branches so that all of them would also follow the same practices, so that we can improve the business, right? So I would like to see in my report who is the top revenue generated branch, okay, which branch is top revenue generated branch. So who would maintain the branches information? For example, there is a source system called organizations that would maintain all the branch information. Okay, how many branches we have, their address, their numbers, their manager numbers, their manager names. All this information we would like to have in our source system, in our data mart. So I approached this organization source system and I asked them a pipe delimited file having details of all the organizations, such as the branch name, the city in which the branch exists, the country name, the phone number, the address, the manager name of the branch. Okay? All such information I would request from this source system, which maintains each and every branch information in a pipe delimited format. Okay? And I would like to maintain the SCD type 2. What is SCD type 2? Okay? Again, all these slowly changing dimension concepts would exist in my videos, data warehousing concept videos. If you completed them, it's fine. Otherwise, please go through and complete them so that you will get to know SCD type 2. The slowly changing dimension type 2, where it will maintain the complete history of the data. Right? So if any changes happen in the branch name or branch address or branch manager name, all this history also should maintain in our application. So I would like to maintain SCD type 2 in my dimension organization. Okay? And I asked my source system to send me this branch information every week on Friday 5 p.m. Okay? So how we can determine this frequency? Why I asked for weekly? Why can't it could be a daily file or a monthly file? Why I asked for weekly? Because here you have to do the analysis how fast the data change. The branch information, how often they would change the branch names, or the managers they would change, or address of the branch would change. Here I have some 1,000 branches, for example. How frequently the branch information would change? Okay, it is very less, right? Every week maybe 1 or 2 branches would change their address or would change their phone numbers or would change their managers. It's not that every day every branch would change their names or address or phone number. So it is very less slowly changing dimension. So I asked for a weekly file every Friday at 5 p.m. Whatever changes happen during that week, I just would like to get that information every week so that I would load into my data mart, and till next week I will use this particular information. There could be any changes or there may not be any changes, but every week I will get a file with the current branches information. If there are any changes, I will do a change capture process and I will update my data mart with the updated information along with the history. That is SCD type 2. Right? So this is the format I requested. The pipe delimited file, organization ID, organization name, address of the branch, the parent organization ID. That means each organization will roll to another branch, right? For example, if we have branches in city, all these cities would roll to a state or a district first, and then all districts will roll out to a state performance, and the state performances would go to country performance and then continent. So like this, every organization would have its own parent organization ID, so that the performance of this organization ID is rolled to the immediate parent organization ID. So there are some roll-ups what would happen in analysis. Okay? For example, in Hyderabad city, we have 10 organizations or 10 branches. If I want to see a particular branch performance, it is fine. I will go to the particular branch performance and I can see. But if I want to calculate the Hyderabad revenue, then I would like to sum up all the cities all the branches in this Hyderabad city, and I have to sum it up, and then I can give you the top revenue or the revenue generated for Hyderabad. So it is the roll-up activity. It has to be done in most of the analysis. So we have to have a relation between the branch with its corresponding parent or guide. and this is the example record. The organization ID, the name of the organization, the address, 46 South Avenue, North Lake, and then org ID 32 and region New Jersey. That is how I requested some information from the organization source. Similarly, product is one more dimension. So I would approach the source system which would maintain this product information, and I will ask them a tab delimited file having all the health insurance products, different variants of the products, auto insurance, whatever insurance you want to maintain, all the products information I would like to store in my product dimension, and I would like to maintain a CD type 2 here also in the dimension. Okay. You'll see the product ID, product name, tenure of the premiums, and is it an individual type or a group type, and how frequently this product information will be changed. Okay, it could be again weekly ones or daily ones or monthly ones. Okay, based on the frequency of change of the data, we can request for the frequency. How frequently you want the source system to send you the data. Okay. So like this, we go for other dimension, customer. Okay, we'll see tomorrow the rest of the dimensions and how we have to implement this step by step. Okay, how do we use BTEQ to implement this dimension? Okay, we consider one of the dimensions, the customer dimension. We'll try to analyze how we can implement them step by step to our BTEQ. Okay. So this is how we have to approach when you have the new project from scratch. Okay, as a developer, you may not be involved in all this, but this is just for your understanding, so that in your career, okay, once you spend a reasonable amount of time as a developer, the next roles would be like an architect or a modeler or a DBA, right? So in those roles, we have to go through this entire life cycle of the project. But as a developer, yes, this all analysis is already done by your architects or your lead modelers, and then they will give you the information what they gathered from the user, and you start going through the documentation and you prepare your codes. But what's the background? Okay, what we have to do in your career further. So this is what the entire project innovation and project invocation. That's what I am trying to make you understand, so that you will get a good exposure and you can talk with any of the industry people, okay, with more confidence. Right? So we will continue this tomorrow, understanding the basic, the insurance domain and the source systems, and then we'll start understanding how to implement all these activities through the BTEQ3. Anyway, this is the case study, is an exercise for you. I will give 5 days time for you to implement. After 5th day, I will share you my code. But I will request everyone to try to implement this. So by tomorrow, you will understand what to implement and you can start practicing it. By today, you implement the exercise what I have explained, BTEQ export and import the variable length text file and loading the variable length text file. Just practice today that, and case study you can start from tomorrow onwards. Any questions so far? No questions, you can leave. I'm here for 1 more minute to see if you have any questions. Otherwise you can leave. Yes, one kid.
Manohar, actually I haven't gone through the data warehousing videos till now, so will I not be able to go through this one case study, or should I have to first go through the...
See, that is better if you already gone through it, and if you know the concept, you know SD type 2?
No.
Okay, so then you have to go through it. Otherwise, I mean, anyway, you will be coming for next batch, right?
Yes.
So you can use this time to go through it, and anyway, in next batch, you will be able to understand.
Okay. And just a question, when are we starting next batch?
11th of July.
Okay.
Right? So those who started, I mean, from start of this batch and who has gone through those data warehousing videos, please complete them so that you can understand. those who joined in middle, okay, can go through it and can complete it if you have time. Otherwise, we will go through all these concepts again in next batch also. Right? Srikant.
No, just want to ask, when is the next DBA batch starting?
Again, 11th July.
11th July.
Yeah.
Okay.
The structure is same. The first 10 classes are common, 10 to 12, and then again we'll split the batches, DBA and development. So that's the same structure.
Okay, but I can I mean, if I want, I can attend again the common classes, right?
Yeah.
Can I attend?
Yeah, if you enroll for DBA, yes, you can go for common classes also again.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll meet tomorrow, the same time, the same link.